Bucks, the Brewers, and more with you.
And now inside the Koss Headphone Studios,
this is Wickett on Wisconsin with me, Mike Wickett.
And we are live here after the Packers 32-18, strange score, 32-18 win over the LA Rams to get to the NFC title game in what was a roller coaster game for Green Bay Packers fans, probably for LA Rams fans as well. All right, let's just all take a deep breath and talk about what an awesome win that was, because it definitely was. I'm going to be monitoring your comments, because normally I don't do these live. Like, normally I do these podcasts where I record it in my my little home studio that I've got here. If you're watching on the video, it's at Lambeau. But normally I don't do that. But today I thought, you know what? We're just going to have to go. We're going to have to go live with this. So I'm going to monitor your comments, your thoughts on Twitter at Mike Wickett. We're on Periscope. Let me turn that down. All right. And first, everybody, just take a sip of your favorite beverage, whatever it is, whether it's a beer, whether it's a shot of Fireball, I don't care. You know what? That was a great win for the Green Bay Packers. I didn't start consuming beers until the second half of this football game, as Green Bay goes on to win 32-18. And I mean, we got a lot to talk about. I got a lot to cover in this game, and we're not even going to get to the NFC Championship because as I'm recording this podcast, we don't know who the Green Bay Packers are going to face, because I'm recording it at 6:45 Central Time on Saturday night. The Saints and the Buccaneers will be playing. It'll be Old Man Breeze versus Old Man Brady, and then the Old Man Bowl next week at Lambeau Field. It'll be Aaron Rodgers at 37 versus some guy in their 40s, whatever, which is going to be awesome. But this was, and I'll be 100% honest with you, like, I didn't do a podcast this week about the Packers and the Rams because I had a lot going on. Friday night I was about to do one, and I thought, well, I'm just going to get to it tomorrow, so I apologize for that. But this was the game in the playoffs that scared me the most. And I know a lot of people are going to laugh at that, and you might think that that is absolutely ludicrous, but this was the game that scared me the most. I think if the Saints come to Lambeau, I like Green Bay's chances next week. If Old Man Brady comes to Lambeau and it's cold, I like the Green Bay Packers' chances next week. This was the game, despite it being a team from warm weather Los Angeles, that scared me. It scared me for a couple of reasons. I've said this before on the podcast. I have said that the Rams, 7 out of 10 games they play, with all the talent that they have, and we'll talk about who wasn't there, but 7 out of 10 games that the LA Rams have would play, just pick any 10, they can look like the best team in the National Football League. They really can. I mean, they have all kinds of weapons. I know Cooper Kupp didn't play today. Robert Woods is absolutely phenomenal. And at times, sometimes, Jared Goff can look like a great player who's worth the $100 million guarantee that he's got coming his way. They finally solidified. I mean, Cam Akers is going to be a stud in this league for a very long time. You can see why they were very, very high on Cam Akers. That's pretty evident. And they've got talent at the tight end with Higbee and Gerald Everett. Of course, how great Aaron Donald can be, maybe the best football player in the National Football League. Jalen Ramsey might be the best cover corner in the National Football League. So they have all these pieces that you can plug in and say, gosh, the Rams should be great. And for 7 out of 10 games every single, this year, they are great. And then there are 3 games out of those 10 where they lose to the Jets. And they don't look to be that good. And I was fearful we were going to see the great Rams team, the team that looks like they can beat anybody in the NFL, come to Lambeau Field, and this thing was going to be a game that comes down to the end where I wouldn't have any fingernails left, where maybe instead of having 3 beers during the game, I would add 4 or 5 or 6. Maybe you would have had 3 or 4 shots of whiskey. I know my guy Dan Richards is watching. He's having some Hercules Mulligan. I don't even know what that is, but that sounds like a whiskey to me. So this was the game that I was actually scared of. And after the first 2 drives, it was 3-3. When Green Bay went down the field on their opening drive, it was a moment where I thought, all right, They're moving the ball in this defense. The best defense in the National Football League. Do not forget that the Rams have the, quote, best defense in the National Football League. And that first drive, Green Bay went down the field, as they do on most opening drives. I mean, props to Aaron Rodgers, but props to Matt LaFleur for scheduling and game planning and whatever it is. That first drive, Green Bay all year led the league in opening drive points. I think it was 76 coming into this game. Green Bay led the league in opening drive points, and I thought they were cruising. And when they didn't score a touchdown, when they kicked the Mason Crosby field goal on that first drive, I thought, ooh, that doesn't feel right. That definitely does not feel like what this game is supposed to feel like. It felt like a 4-point loss is what it felt like to me. And then the Rams go down the field, and I felt like 7 was coming. And I, say what you want about Mike Pettin, and we definitely will be talking about Mike Pettin on the podcast here tonight, but Pettin's defense, the Green Bay defense, has got better in the back half of the season, especially since November became December. They actually have been playing quite well. And I thought, oh no, we're reverting back to October and September Green Bay defense on that opening Rams drive. And you watch this team play, you watch all these teams play, and you have to remember to yourself that the other team is here for a reason. The Rams are here for a reason. They went to Seattle and they beat the Seahawks for a reason. I know we have an extra playoff team, but these are still NFL playoff teams. So to think that the Rams were going to come in and roll over, that wasn't going to happen. So they go down the field. I thought they were going to score 7. I thought Green Bay was going to be playing from behind early in this one. Turns out they held them to 3. There was a penalty that really benefited Green Bay. And then it was like, okay, it's kind of a reset. And the game kind of started over at that point. And it was 3-3. Green Bay got the ball back. And then it was, as Matt LaFleur likes to say, all gas, no effing break. And that's what you wanted to see. And it looked like Green Bay was just in absolute control of this football game in that first half. We'll talk about the third quarter here in just a second, but it didn't seem to matter what LA did. Green Bay was able to move the football, and how great is it? As a fan of the Green Bay Packers, as a fan of Aaron Rodgers, as a big fan of Devontae Adams and all the wide receivers Aaron has ever had and the aerial attack that Mike McCarthy and now Matt LaFleur brings to the table, how awesome was it to see Jamal Williams, A.J. Dillon, and Aaron Flippin' Jones run all over the best defense in the National Football League. Like, that was great. It was awesome to see. And the occasional play-action pass, and it all was a good formula for Green Bay. Everything seemed to work. They prepped and planned for the Rams, and they had 2 weeks to do this. That first week they were prepping for one half the staff was prepping for the Seahawks, and one half the staff was prepping for the Rams. And then once the Rams won, it was, all right, we got 7 days. We got to get ready now for Los Angeles. It was an amazing first half for Green Bay. And even when L.A., who, again, has plenty of weapons, was able to score in that first half, even when they were able to do so, Green Bay still with 29 seconds left. I tweeted it out. I said, you left Aaron Rodgers too much time. You left Aaron Rodgers too much damn time. With 2 timeouts, you're about to kick off, and, you got to get into Crosby's field goal range. I mean, that was just textbook. Bing, bing, bing. Hit Bobby Tonyan, hit Devontae, set up the field goal, and it went from 16-10 to 19-10. They come back and go down the field. Now, I know on the extra point, it didn't work out so hot, but still, zip. All of a sudden, it was 16-10, and then all of a sudden, it was 25-10, and you're like, well, we're good. We're all good, And Green Bay at that point had control of this game. LA wasn't going to roll over. LA wasn't going to die. And Green Bay went into the worst Green Bay. 3-man rush Green Bay. That deserves another drink of the beer. 3-man rush Green Bay is the worst Green Bay. Can't stand 3-man rush Green Bay. I don't know why here in week 19, Mike Pettin still hasn't figured out that 3-man rushes with this team drop an 8 against a team that is, coached by a pretty darn good coach in McVay with those weapons. I know there was no Cooper Kupp, but still, that scheme finds ways, and Goff is an above-average quarterback who's got $100 million guaranteed. But Goff's going to make you pay. And so for Pettin and company to still keep rushing these same three guys. Just, wanted to claw my eyes out. Green Bay had back-to-back drives where they punted, and it just didn't – it felt like some of that momentum was shifting. And eventually things sort of battled back, and the long touchdown pass to Alan Lazard really was the dagger, the Wayne Larrivee dagger in the heart of this entire thing. And you know what? Green Bay played a great football game. There were two drives that weren't so great, but Green Bay played a great football game. They got after Goff when they didn't just rush three. It's crazy. When they rushed 4 or 5, they got to Goff. When they rushed 3, Goff actually had time to throw and hit all of his weapons. Mind-blowing, isn't it? So you have to give a lot of credit to this team on defense, a lot of credit to this team on offense, and they're on to the NFC Championship game. I mean, this was the game that I was the most scared of. This was the one where I thought, oh, no. Here come the LA Rams and all their weapons and everything, but I still felt, and here was my prediction, by the way. If you want to go back, I got the timestamp on it. I said, this is my prediction this morning at like 6:30 because I get up with all 3 babies. Aaron Rodgers play actions the Rams to death. Lots of big sets to protect from Aaron Donald. Devontae has 9 for 78 and a touchdown, mostly from the slot. MVS has a big TD, and the defense plays inspired. Goff goes Goff. It's over at 30-16 in the fourth, but a late touchdown makes it Packers 30-23. I wasn't that far off on anything. All right. Some people just say, I'll take the Packers, but I gave you actual breakdown of how I thought they were going to get to the win. And thanks to JFlash424, who said this turned out to be an excellent prediction. Now, I don't toot my own horn all that often because I usually get everything wrong. But in this case, I got to give myself a little bit of credit and say this isn't my first rodeo when it comes to the Green Bay Packers. Aaron Rodgers was phenomenal on play action tonight. And the Green Bay Packers know, and I learned this from Peter Bukowski, my guy over at Acme Packing Company. He told me that, or he told the world on Twitter, that the LA Rams are at or near the bottom third, bottom 5, maybe the worst team in the NFL against play-action passing. You know that Matt LaFleur and company game planned to play-action pass this team to death. Aaron was phenomenal on play-action passing, and you know what really helps out your play-action passing? Your ability to run the football. Aaron Jones, 14 carries for 99 yards. Jamal Williams, God, he ran hard tonight. 12 for 65. A.J. Dillon, 6 for 27 until he got hurt. We'll know more about that. I think I read it was a quad, which is not good for Quadzilla. But when you carry the ball 36 times for 188 yards as a team, the greatest benefactor of that is your quarterback on play action. And it set up for 3.5 quarters until, play action, Rodgers over the top to Alan Lazard for the 58-yard touchdown. I mean, it was as if everybody knew this was coming, and nobody on the LA Rams could do anything to stop it. Now, I said Devontae would have 9 for 78 and a touchdown. He had 9 for 66 and a touchdown. I had Packers 32-23. It wound up being 32-18. Defense played inspired, 4 sacks, I should say, on Jared Goff. Goff went Goff. When the pocket collapsed on Jared Goff, when they didn't just rush 3, when they actually brought flippin' pressure, Green Bay got to Jared Goff. And I don't care which quarterback Green Bay sees. Cheers. I don't care which quarterback Green Bay sees next week, whether it's Drew Brees or it's Tom Brady. You bring the same amount of pressure that you did tonight with your front 4, not 3, 4. You're going to move Brady off his mark. You're going to move Brees off his mark, and you're going to sack the quarterback. And that is the key to getting to the Super Bowl. Zadarius Smith, heck, Preston Smith made plays tonight. Kenny Clark was a monster. And how about my guy, Rashawn Gary? We can put to bed all the Rashawn Gary is a bust stuff, right? The pressure. When they pressured Goff, they got to Goff. Pressure the old men next week. All right? God, it's simple. Like, you're a football fan. You understand it, right? It's not that tough to figure out. You pressure these guys, you can get to these guys. God, and I got to tell you, man, my guy Jonathan Weir, who used to work at KMBZ in Kansas City with me and now is out in Boston working for a radio station up there, said something like, it's boring to watch any quarterback that isn't Patrick Mahomes. Watching Aaron Rodgers tonight was one of the most entertaining football experiences I've seen in a long time. Aaron was phenomenal, especially in traffic when pressure got to him and he had to move off of his mark. I mean, the throw out of the end zone to Lazard was just absolutely ridiculous. The throws he was making to Tunyon, the pump fake, and he ran it in on his own. I mean, I get it. Patrick Mahomes is great and will be great for 15 more years. And I love Patrick Mahomes. But Patrick Mahomes is going to be what Aaron Rodgers' entire career is. Like, he's Aaron Rodgers 2.0 and will be for a while. But my God, the snap throw to Devontae on the touchdown early, it was a thing of beauty. Watching Rodgers, watching the run game, watching him use Tunyon, and Jalen Ramsey got beat by Devontae a couple of times tonight. Watching this offense was phenomenal, and they're doing it without their left tackle because someone's going to say, you have that friend of yours, probably a Bears fan, who's going to wind up saying, well, they did it without facing Aaron Donald. Well, the Packers did it without the best left tackle in the National Football League. David Bakhtiari is done for the year, so injuries happen. You just have to deal with them at this point. It's absolutely ridiculous for anybody to sit there and say, well, it's not a real victory because they didn't play with Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald's fantastic. Don't get me wrong. Cooper Kupp is very good, but the Packers played without the best left tackle in football and still put up over 480 yards. Over 480 yards on the so-called best defense in the National Football League. Too bad they didn't draft a wide receiver, huh? Stats. Let's run through stats for you because everybody loves statistics. Aaron Rodgers, 23 of 36, 296, 2 touchdowns, no picks, a quarterback rating of 108. He hit Allen Lazard 4 times for 96 yards. That 58-yard touchdown was the longest of the day. Devontae, 9 for 66 and a score. Bobby Tunyon, if you haven't read his Players Tribune article, his message to you as a Packer fan, you're definitely going to want to do that. It's on my Facebook page, facebook.com/Mike Wickett Podcast. 4 catches for 60 yards. MVS had some big catches. Had a drop or two in this one, but not the earth-shattering 65-yard bomb drop, but still had some big catches, including one on that big third down where he reached late in that fourth quarter. Big game for MVS, 4 for 33. EQ caught a pass, so did Aaron Jones. On the other side, by the way, Jared Goff, people said they wanted Jared Goff to throw. He was 21 of 27. I mean, he only threw for $174. Cam Akers, 18 carries, 90 yards. Also caught a pass for 6 yards. So that dude is going to be very, very big for this team in the coming months. But 32-18, the final score. The Green Bay Packers move on to the NFC Championship game. And I don't know who it's going to be. It's going to be Bree. It's going to be Brady. I have a feeling, and you can tell me if you disagree with this. Hit me up on Twitter at Mike Wickett, right there. I think that was your NFC Championship game. I think Green Bay will go to the Super Bowl, regardless of who they face at this point. Doesn't matter if it's Breeze or Brady, and I know, I'm scared of Tampa too. I remember what happened in week 4, or whatever it was, when Aaron melted down and Tampa rolled the Packers. But I do believe that Green Bay is going to go on to the Super Bowl now that they got past what I thought was their toughest test. We will find out. And if you're listening to this after the Breeze and Brady matchup, then you already know the answer to that. So 32-18, funky final score. Packers win over the LA Rams. And it's on to the NFC Championship game. You have a near 500-yard performance. You have the NFL's MVP. You have the best offense in the National Football League. You have the number 1 seed of the NFC. And now you're hosting the NFC Championship game. Props to Matt LaFleur. Props to Aaron Rodgers. Props to Brian Gutekunst, the general manager, and this entire roster, because we are with this ride. We are with you. And I cannot wait to do this again hopefully next week, talking about a trip to the Super Bowl. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for listening. Thanks so much for checking out this episode of Wickett on Wisconsin. Until next time, you know what? Go Pack Go.
Thanks for listening to Wickett on Wisconsin. If you have any feedback or you want to reach out to the show, you can find me on Facebook, Mike Wickett Podcasts, or you can email MikeWickettPodcasts@gmail.com.
And you can find me on Instagram and Twitter @Mike Wickett.
Thanks to Silverman Sound Studios for providing the music for today's show. And you can find us anywhere you find your podcasts, including Apple, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. Until next week, thanks for listening to Wickett on Wisconsin.